First question I want to ask you. I know you're from New York, right?
Queens, yeah.
Queens. Okay. Um, what right now this this whole like movement is taking off. So like did you expect that?
Uh, no. I had about on TikTok, I had 238,000 followers, and on
Mhm.
Instagram, about 11,000 followers. So I just kind of put out a call within my,
Yeah.
followers, just thinking, maybe a couple of hundred of them, will kind of not do that day, and maybe they'll tell their friends. And
Yeah.
and I honestly, I have no idea how it happened because I've been doing this online for 10 years.
Yeah,
But
I saw
it's
your
like,
YouTube videos. Yeah.
yeah, it's like all of a sudden somebody just kind of started listening. And it's great though, because it really is, it is kind of time for us just to kind of form this solidarity and common ground. So no, I had no idea it was going to spread like this, but I'm really grateful it did. It's definitely surreal and kind of overwhelming a bit. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so um kind of explain to me who is part of the movement right now.
Yeah. As far as just running like the organization and getting it all up off the ground, it's primarily me right now. I hired one of my friends to kind of monitor the emails and go through this. I went through an attorney to get things trademarked and to form the
Yeah.
organization into an LLC, which we eventually want to do. I want to do a nonprofit, but for that, you have to have 7 people on board, and I don't have people in place that I would even trust in that kind of sense, with the exception of friends and family, and I don't want to do
Yeah.
that. When we
Yeah.
get to that point, it needs to be other people. So right now, it's me. I'm forming I have the organization formed. I have the temporary website up right now, and one of the main goals is to build a platform, almost in a sense like a private social media for all the members, so we can have a place to connect, to communicate, and organize everyone who's involved in movements without having the fear of social media being pulled from us or something
Yeah.
compromising it. So I'm trying to
So
work on all these cool things. God, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, you're okay. Let me ask you about like your website. So I know you said it's a temporary website.
Yeah.
Um, I was trying to track like how many members you actually have that have
Yeah.
like said like I'm doing it, I'm in because
Yeah.
social media, it's you can gauge it that way, but you really can't because people can post stuff and reshare it. It's not the same. So
Yeah.
how do you know how many people are actually willing to really do this on February
Yeah,
20th?
honestly, like I said, I did not realize it was going to go as far as it did. So, the website I've had about, when I looked at last night, I haven't checked this morning, there was about 55,000 like signups, emails, people who
Wow.
had signed
Okay.
up. And the
Yeah.
website has had about 750,000 visitors in the last 3 weeks.
Wow.
The GoFundMe just hit over $60,000 last night, which,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
So things are moving, things are going good. But yeah, the website is definitely temporary. I needed to get something up there now to where people can kind of just start to come and see
Yeah.
what's going on and be involved. And I'm getting messages from so many different organizations that want to, work and
Talk.
reach out
Yeah.
and connect. But yeah,
Wow.
it's mind blowing. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me a little bit more about what motivated you to start speaking out and just basically forming this what is now a movement. Probably wasn't originally a movement. It was probably just like these are my thoughts.
Yeah, well, yeah, for the past, almost 10 years online, I've been meditation and mindfulness. So I've always been
Mhm.
trying to find that common ground of kindness and compassion, but it doesn't seem to be quite working. And
Okay.
and throughout the years, I refrain from like expressing my own views on things just because I never want people to feel like they're not welcome or something. But about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I woke up one morning and I just, with everything that's going on, it's not like one specific thing. It's just
Hmm.
kind of the whole accumulation throughout my life. I grew up in Queens. So, racism has always been an issue. Inequality has always been an issue. I've been around struggling families. I grew up a poor, abusive home myself. So just seeing what's happening in the country, how nothing really is being done for the people again, another cycle of administration and more empty, broken promises. I kind of had enough, and I just started making my videos titled An American President just to like express my ideas in that sense. Like a normal, regular person can have great ideas. And I started sharing them, started putting it out there. And again, this is just kind of where it ended up. I called for
Yeah.
that blackout. I said to the people, the followers, I said, let's just do an economic blackout. We should form a union of the people. Let's make a stance. We can start. And that's the thing. I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep
You're
talking,
okay.
but that's the thing with the economic blackout this Friday. I know you asked about how we're going to statistically kind of monitor it. It's almost impossible at this point because it's gone even beyond this country. There are people from other
I
countries
know.
involved.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I think media coverage is going to be one thing. I think if I get in my car and I drive by my Walmart and the parking lot's a little emptier, a little quieter, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
But this Friday, to be completely honest, it's 2 points for this Friday. Everyone is always talking about unifying, getting past our differences, and doing something. This is it doesn't get any simpler than this. You don't have to do anything. Literally,
Mhm.
don't do anything Friday. You can stay home, don't spend money, and that's it. You're taking part in something. And the other thing is, it's if enough people really do this, I keep saying it's like that shot in the air, like we're here. There's
Mhm.
340 million people in America. I'm not delusional. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure a whole lot of people are going to go shopping that day. But again, a whole lot of people aren't. So,
Right.
so it's going to be an interesting thing, but we escalate a week later with Amazon for a week, and we're not
Yeah,
stopping.
so I was gonna ask you all about that. So, um, tell me a little bit more though about just like your next steps, because I know that you have on your website just like a list of things that you plan to like say, let's boycott this now. Let's
Hmm.
boycott this now. So your hope is that there's such a different, like, what is your hope?
Okay, that's
That
great.
there will be, you know what I mean?
Yeah, again, two things. I think if enough citizens, I shouldn't even say that, enough Americans, if I think enough Americans or just people globally kind of start standing up and causing economic resistance, I really think at some point these companies will begin to lose so much money, like what's happening with Target. I'm at this point, I'm just fed up with Target as a whole. That's another story. So I think we should just all permanently stop shopping at Target altogether. But my hope is that these companies begin to realize, Walmart, Amazon, all of them, that they're starting to lose so much money that they start saying, we'll pay our fair share in taxes. I want these companies, these corporations, these billionaires to be, metaphorically speaking, brought to their knees, because we are the economy. We control this country. We're the ones getting up every day, paying our taxes. And again, we see the new tax plan doesn't benefit the American working family.
Do you do you have a background in economics or anything
No,
like this? Do you okay,
no.
so I did read up a little bit about like what you've done before this point. Um, you're so confident. Where does that come from?
Wow. That's a fair question because it's not.
Yeah.
I don't want it to come off as egotistical or narcissistic or anything like that. My confidence has been in the responses. I mean, my Instagram page. I could show it to you. It's 29.8 million views in 30 days. So that's the confidence right there. Seeing all of these people from all over the world wanting to stand in solidarity, it's empowering. And
Yeah, I
and and
mean,
it's
so I'm glad you brought the empowering part, the solidarity part. I'm glad you brought those things up because there seems to be a very clear divide, in a lot of um conversations, okay, around politics, economy, all these things.
yeah.
So, um, you said that your goal has always been to just not be so divided. Um, so
Where this country is more divided on more topics at this point in history than ever before, and that's what I mean. You know, it's we have to get to a point where we kind of understand that all of these things that are dividing us, all of it, are things that, let's just say, the powers that be, whether that's government or billion, it's things they're playing on and constantly manipulating to keep us divided and distracted. So look, I know there's always going to be an opposition. I know everybody's always going to want what somebody else has. But as just citizens, as Americans, as just people, we have to come to a point where we understand this and accept it as truth, and we have to be able to put aside our differences. We have to do this. We have to put aside our differences, because if we don't, if we keep fighting over what others have, or the color of our skin, or what somebody's calling themselves, what they're wearing, then we're just never going to get anywhere. And it's always going to be like this, and it's going to get worse. So again, my whole point in this, my whole hope is that people just finally get it. It doesn't matter at this point, left or right. It doesn't. I'm 57 years old, and it's always empty promises. Democrats have had the Senate and Congress, they've had the presidency, and we still have inequality, we still have price gouging, we still have churches and corporations not paying their fair share in taxes, we still have people out in the streets starving and struggling while billionaires are waking up and just playing like this is a monopoly board, and it's just not fair anymore. So I'm just kind of fed up. I'm just fed up. And I'm not an economist. I have a high school education at best. I graduated high school. And like I said, I'm a musician, and I've been a meditation teacher for many years. I've been involved in business management and running companies. I've always had a really good knack of solving and organizing. But to what you said, you know, I grew up in the projects, and we just can't do this anymore. We can't keep throwing in each other's faces what happened in the past and what we don't have today, because we're never going to have a future if we keep living in the past. So I'm just begging people, honestly, for this one
what do you
thing.
say about the people who are just focusing on the things that are different and not the things about, the people that are in this same economy that's very much the same? Like, we're all Americans. We all want, to live in a place where we feel valued. So what do you say about
And
that?
safe. I mean, it's not just, about feeling safe. I'm not sure I understand, like, what do you mean the dividing? Are we talking about equality, racism? I mean, what division are you
I guess,
talking about?
I mean, there's so many. There's
Well,
so many,
because
but
even right now, the DEI is a big issue.
yeah.
And I've been
And
asked
actually,
about
a
that.
lot of people, yes, I was about to say, a lot of people have actually created their own graphics for social media with your information, saying that it is DEI related. And I know that that's not what's on your website. So
Yeah,
what do you think
it's
of that?
they both happen like at the same time. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And it's interesting because DEI wasn't the initiative or the motivation, but inequality is. Not being included is, and racism is. And I was that morning, I think when I made that video, it was when we saw on the news them like taking down the emblems off of one of the buildings, and it had to do with, DEI. And it was at that point that I got just that ultimately fed up. You know what I mean? So as far as DEI and people associating with this movement, this organization with it, I have no problem with that. None whatsoever. Because for me, it's heartbreaking that we have to have something like that in place in the first place. But the fact that we do have it in place to protect people, and it's being taken away, that doesn't mean we're going backwards. That means we're going someplace that we don't want to even know what it is. So if anybody wants to say, yeah, he's associating with DEI, then that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine, because like I said before with Target, just what they're
So
doing, yeah.
so Jay, are you a father?
A father?
Mhm.
Yeah, I have three kids. I have three children. Yeah.
What world are you wanting for them? Are they still kids? Are they adult children? Like,
If I get emotional, I apologize. I have a 29-year-old son. I have a 9-year-old son, and I have a 6-year-old daughter. And I'm horrified at what the future is going to be like them. Not even talking environmentally, just what they're turning this country into. You know, and I'm not trying to be political. I'm just trying to be honest. And I keep emphasizing that with people. What we're doing right now is we're turning this country into some crazy dictatorship. And out here, us, for the American people, it's going to be like a third world country. We're going to be struggling and screaming for scraps. And for my children, I want a world where they can just grow up and not have to worry about, in a sense, wall and border, not worry about who they are, where they are, who they're talking to, who's coming to get them. I want everyone, and not just my kids, everyone deserves to walk on this earth with freedom. We live on a planet that provides everything we'll ever need, from air, water, land, food, and we are starving and struggling. So my hopes for my children, for your children, for everyone's children, is that they can grow up in a safe world, a world that's free, a world that is completely equal, where there is no need or desire to have things to protect us if we're divided. It's just got to stop. It's got to stop. Maybe I'm, you know, fantasizing or being delusional, but I really hope at some point people can just put their differences aside and treat every single person the way they want to be treated themselves. Allow everybody else that freedom and equality we all want for ourselves. You know, I just, for my kids, man, I just want a safe world where they grow up and can be happy and not have to suffer and struggle the way we are. And I think that's the same thing our grandparents and great grandparents and fat parents thought they were doing. They thought they were fighting and working to make our lives better, but it's not getting better, you know?
did you have anybody in your life, that you can think back to and say, man, they inspired me, and I kind of feel like I'm channeling them in all of this?
You are awesome, man. You are asking the golden questions, man. You got me getting teary-eyed. Yeah, like I had a really bad upbringing. My mom and my dad and my sister, very abusive, really broken family. So my grandmother, I'm not gonna, yeah, my grandmother, man, she was just. I've never known anybody like her in my entire life. It didn't matter who you were, what you looked like. Her home, her heart was open to everyone. And I kind of, even though I did stupid things growing up in my life, we all make mistakes and stuff. I always kind of inside had that, like, if she was alive, when she was alive, I was like, I can't disappoint my grandmother ever. And now that she's not here, she left many years ago, but I still always have that thing inside, like, my grandmother's watching, I got to be pretty cool. But to be kind of honest with you, my mom passed away 2 years ago, and we had a really tough relationship, my mother and I. And I know when she passed away, there were things she wanted to say to me that she couldn't, and this is going to sound so weird, but my mom and I used to grow up watching Little House on the Prairie, like, religiously.
Okay,
And
gotcha.
my mom watched that show until she was almost gone. And a few days ago, Melissa Gilbert, who played Laura Ingalls,
Mhm.
started following my page and messaged me saying she's all in, and I lost it. I lost it, So I
Wow.
said the other day in a live, I shouldn't have as blessed of a life as I have, just from my past, my upbringing and stuff. I shouldn't, but somebody up there is definitely watching out, or somebody up there likes me, like the old saying. So I have promised whatever's up there that I will do everything I can with this platform to just do something to benefit everyone. It's
What
time.
do you say, Jay, to the people who are completely repulsed by the word inclusion and diversity? The people who are on that end, what do you say to people who feel that way.
That they're the problem in this country. You know, if you're looking at another person and holding them hostage, you know, to your expectations, imagination, the color of your skin, your religious beliefs, or your just misguided perspective on society, then they're not the problem. You are the problem. You know, and that, you know, somebody out there like that, it's just, I'm trying to really choose my words carefully right now, because I,
So how would you entice someone like that to maybe stand with you and not against you? Because I'm
yeah,
sure you've had times in your life, right, where
yeah,
you've met people who you guys don't believe in the same thing. And you can
yeah.
still be cordial, right? And still be, you know,
That's kind of what I mean. You know, it's we all have the capability inside somewhere beyond all that. Let's just call it noise and information, whatever's going on upstairs. We
yeah.
all have that kind of that good essence inside. So yeah, you know, this is. I swear, I wish my friend Craig was here. My wife is upstairs. Since I'm a kid, people have always asked me, what do I want to do when I grow up? And I have always given this insane answer that I just want to speak to everybody. They used to look at me like I was nuts. I swear to God. I used to say, I just want to speak to the world at the same time. And what's happening right now is just blowing my mind, because it's we are here for so much more than we believe, and we are so much more than we think we are. And I love what I do as far as meditation and connecting with people, because I get an opportunity to guide people inside beyond that. And it doesn't matter who they are, what kind of trauma, what pain, how they're seeing the world. I do have like a gift that gets inside people and kind of reaches into them. And I would love an opportunity. I don't care if they're the biggest racist on the planet. I would love an opportunity to speak to them, because I'm going to lose it. I'm sorry. Because again, I just think everybody's misguided. I think we're kind of just lost, you know. Everybody's on this journey. We're all banging into each other because we don't know what we're supposed to be doing. And beyond all that, we're the same. Beyond names and labels and colors and genders, we're all the same. We're so yeah. It's the worst thing for me. It's the most heartbreaking thing for me to know that we boast all of this, you know, religion and Christianity and righteousness. And most people are just the evil that they preach to fear. Sorry to say it like that, you know. They really are. It's sad. It is. But obviously things seem to be changing right now. People are listening, you know.
What does that do for you? It seems like you get really, you know, choked up talking about just the state of humanity. And to know that there are people, though, who may feel the same because they are buying into what you are selling.
Oh
They're
man,
buying into it.
that's the
So,
con that's the confidence you were talking about before.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it's feeling that, you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's kind of funny, you know, you've gone to a concert before, right? You walk into the arena, you can feel like that electricity in the air, you know, or you've gone to a funeral, you can feel that very like heaviness in the
yeah.
air.
Hmm.
I can feel it right now, man. I can,
Hmm.
and I'm a meditation teacher. I do public meditations, and last night I did one, and there's people going to my meditations who are like, dude, I saw your videos. I'm getting messages from people I haven't heard from in
Wow.
years. And you know, my aunt posted your video on her Facebook page, you know. So it's just, this is our time. You know, I really believe that if this makes any sense to you, I believe the minority's going to become the majority, and I believe the current majority is going to become the minority. And I think we're going to flip the script. I really think we are. I do.
What do you think about the people who are on the fence and maybe they just don't believe that their one action will be enough?
It won't. It won't. This Friday won't be enough. It won't be enough. This
Mm,
Friday, you know what? This Friday, like I said, this Friday is just us all like throwing our pebbles in the pond and creating that ripple and let it become the wave. You know,
yeah.
the Amazon boycott, the Nestle boycott, the General Mills, and working all the way up to the 4th of July, and then what I have planned after that. That's going to be the big thing. This is just the shot. You know, this is the start of the race Friday. But I'm really hoping, people who are on the fence, like I said, there's always going to be an opposition, I know that. But for people who are on the fence, that's okay. Let them watch. Let them watch. Because in 3 months, in 6 months, in a year, I'm sure people think I'm going to go fade away, but they have no idea I've been doing this for a long time and I'm not going anywhere.
What does your family think?
Obviously my younger kids kind of think it's pretty cool, just
Yeah.
social media, videos viral. My older son, he says it's really surreal. He's got some concerns and stuff, like for my safety.
Right.
And I've told him, I said, look, there are people out there who have been talking a lot crazy stuff and a lot louder and with bigger platforms than me. So I'm not worried and I'm not doing anything wrong. This is no violence, peaceful, just economic resistance. But my wife, my older son and my wife both said the same thing. They said, this is what I've been preparing for my whole life. So
Oh, I love that.
my wife said, you got to go for it. Just do it. Do it. She's excuse my words, my wife's a badass. Yeah, my wife is, man. She is a force to be reckoned with. She definitely is. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So you have support. You have support from
Absolutely.
your community.
Oh,
Awesome.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. And just out of curiosity, so are you no longer living in New York? Like where are you at
Yeah,
now?
I'm in the Midwest now. We live in the
Okay.
Midwest. Yeah,
Okay.
we're out there in the Midwest. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So
No more big cities for me. No big cities for me. I'm tired of it. Yeah, I can't do it anymore.
got it. So I want to ask another question. In your past, have you been a part of any boycotts or protests before?
No, no. You know what? I've generally kind of not been against them, but the reason we're in the condition we're in now is because most movements become motionless. They get an inch, we get an inch, and it kind of just stops and subsides. And that's why the only way it will ever change is when we all finally just get up and don't stop. And that's why we're just going to keep doing this and get longer and longer. And yeah.
And you just gaining traction.
Yep. This is just the beginning, honestly. This is just the beginning.
That's awesome. Okay. Do you have anything else that you want to say, like to the people maybe that are supporting you or the people who are like, I've been wondering what this February 28th thing is, what's happening? Anything else that you want to make sure you add?
I just, if you have to spend any money on Friday, go to a independently small, locally owned business if you can.
Mm,
But if you don't have to spend any money on Friday, don't. And I guess if there's one thing everybody needs to hear, enough is enough. We're all in this together, and we all should know at this point that the powers that be do not look at us as people. They look at us as just consumers. And it's time we stand up and show them that we are the economy and we could do
It's
this.
so it's so crazy because literally I've been doing my research and I'm like, people really want to know which side he's on. They want to know like, are you a Democrat though? Are you a Republican? Like which one are you? I need to know
I'll
so I
answer
can
that
figure out if
question.
I want to support you.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm definitely not a Republican. I can tell you that. I'm definitely not a Republican. I was never for a Republican, and I never understood it because, again, I grew up in the projects, and Republicans always, to me, just seemed like they were always for the rich and catering to the rich. The Democrats always seemed to care more about local communities and things. So I always leaned more on the Democratic side. But later in life, I guess if I had to give myself anything, I'd say an independent. And
Independent.
if there was anybody out there right now who I would love to speak to as far as a politician, I would, and if I hope he hears this, man, I would love to talk to Bernie Sanders, man. I really want to talk to Bernie Sanders. I really do. I really do.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So again, I'm really trying not to take a side, but I definitely lean on the Democratic side. But I think the Democrats have failed us. I think they've really failed us. They've had their opportunities, and they've never really pulled through in a way that they could. And like I said, we've had control of the Senate and Congress and the presidency, and we still have these issues. You know, yeah. So yeah. At this point, I kind of stand in the middle, and I think it's time for real change. But yeah, if yeah, that I guess that's about the best answer I can give you. Yeah.
Okay, that is good enough. Well, I am so appreciative of your time. I just thought it was, I was scrolling, I'm like, February 28th, what's happening? And then I started doing my research. I'm like, what is this? The People's Union USA? Like, what? So did you pick that name?
Yeah, because I think that the only way for us to ever make a change is kind of just to
Together.
form a real citizens union, you know,
Yeah.
and yeah, so yep.
Awesome. Okay, well, I don't have any other questions. I